and welcome to Follow Everton, the Everton Fan TV channel. I'm Ryan, your host and sole pundit for this video and this preview for Monday night's fixture at Goodison Park against Arsenal. Now, I'm going to get straight to it. I'm going to talk about the fixture. I'm not going to dwindle on the past, the derby anymore. We've well covered that. So let's focus on this game. Rafa Benitez has called for calm and togetherness in his pre-match press conference, which I think is interesting because I think obviously he's losing a lot of the goodwill from the fans. And there is a lot of, I wouldn't say most of us are calm anymore. I think there is a lot of panic involved. I'd say a lot of the fans think that there is a potential relegation battle on. I don't see it. But he's calling for togetherness and for some calmness. And he assures us that results will improve. So I'm going to talk about what he said in that press conference and my thoughts on that. And I'm also going to look at some of the stats between Everton and Arsenal and pick a team and give my prediction over the next 15 minutes. So the good news is, first and foremost, Yerry Mina is back. He's back in full training. He did part of the session today. So over the next few days, I imagine he's going to train on Saturday and Sunday, and with a view to starting on Monday. Rafa Benitez also confirmed that Andre Gomez is available as well. So that is really positive that Yerry Mina's back, and positive that Andre Gomez is back. And the only two players then who are missing are Calvert-Lewin and Tom Davis. Didn't seem to give much information about Tom Davis, but I am aware it is a knee injury. And the Calvert-Lewin one, he's had apparently two extra injuries on top of the one that kept him out at the start of the season. A quad injury, he's had a toe injury. I'm not quite sure what the other one was, but he did say it's been two setbacks to an initial injury. So that's a concern, but he's 2 weeks away. So we're looking at possibly be lucky to see him before Boxing Day, which would be disappointing. Talking about 2 weeks today, that'd be the 17th. So not in time for the Chelsea game, probably, but after that, hopefully, we'll see him involved. Excuse me. Yerry Mina, it's an interesting one because he isn't going to be match fit. I mean, he's medically fit and he's training with the team, but where is he going to be at with his fitness? I think you've got to make a change in defence for sure. I just think if you keep allowing that defence to play week in, week out, that has conceded so many goals this season. And we're not even just talking about Liverpool. We're talking about the Watford game, and we're talking about others where we've conceded far too many goals. We've got to make a change. Now, I don't know how fit Yerry Mina is, but I think if he's half fit, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be inclined to start him. I really would. I think you've got to just throw him in there because we've been awful. Maybe revolt to a 5 at the back with the 3 centre-backs and allow our wing backs to actually get forward and have less defensive responsibility. But I'm going to talk more about the team in a moment. But it's good to see Yerry Mina back involved. It sounds from the press conference like Rafa's been told that the club don't want to change manager because he said about them being, had a lot of chopping and changing of the managers. Now, I think that means he's basically been told we're not looking to chop and change. Again, we're looking for some stability and his job secure. But he did look a bit broken, I must admit, in the press conference. He seems absolutely distraught about the results on Monday night. Wednesday night, was it? Yeah, Wednesday night. Sorry, I can't even remember, to be honest with you. It's all going really quickly. The games are so close together. But he seemed distraught. He was gutted. He said it was down to individual mistakes. But yeah, I mean, how many results? It's like a run where we haven't won in 8 games, and I wouldn't put them all down to individual errors. I'd put them down to very, the Liverpool one was just brainless tactics. I mean, leaving yourself so outnumbered in midfield, really, with huge gaps between midfield and defence. Maybe in some of the other games, I think it's been a case of injuries at the start, and then I think your confidence has dropped. And then obviously we're conceding goals from set pieces. So I think there's more to it, for sure. I mean, I can't remember what my original trail of thought was there. I'm sorry. He was talking about positivity, and I wrote in my notes before this that he was saying about they did it at the start of the season, which means they can do it now. They can do it again. But have we ever really done it? I mean, Everton under Benitez, we haven't played on the front foot in any of the games, I don't think. It's been very passive. We've neither pressed or really been compact and defensive. So I don't know what you can say about it, really. It's been a non-event. It's been really bad. I think he's absolutely deluded to say that we did it. You know, we beat Brighton. We got a penalty. There were a few of the games we got a penalty. We weren't that good. We certainly weren't that good in the win against Norwich. We weren't great against the win against Burnley. So I think he's a little bit out of touch with what the reality is in this situation. And it is a lot worse on the pitch than he's making out, in terms of we're not even just making individual errors. We're getting outplayed, and we're making tactical mistakes and setting ourselves up for a fall. And against Arsenal, who are improved this season, we will get punished if we play the same as we did defensively. And if we do that same setup and we go into the game as naive as we did against Liverpool, then Arsenal will get chances and they will punish us, because they have pace and they have good finishers and they've improved. I'm not saying they're blowing any trees, but blowing up any trees, I think it is. But you know, they're better. They're better than they were. Put it that way. So yeah, he's saying we need to be positive. We can do it again, but I'm not so sure we ever did it in the first place, I'll be honest. Hi Dave, it's just me. And hi Lee. Random last minute winner, yeah, that would be nice. He did talk about Solomon Rondon having a scan and potentially being injured. So he feels okay apparently, but they need the results back from the scan. So we have to see whether Solomon Rondon will even be involved. Can Doucouré play another game within a week? I'm not so sure he can play 3 games in 8 days. So it'll be interesting to see whether he sticks with Doucouré. For me, I just think you've got to keep the same team that played against Liverpool and bring Yerry Mina in. I think, because I'll explain why in a minute. I think offensively we're okay against Liverpool. And I think if we play like that against Arsenal, we'll get chances, but we need to find a way of cutting out individual mistakes and of getting back into position quickly and compactly when we're out of the possession against Arsenal. And if we're not and we're out of shape, take the foul or play in a way that will stop those counterattacks being, you know, so threatening and becoming, you know, end-to-end chances. And if we are going to press Arsenal, I don't want to see it so frantic. I want to see it in a measured way where perhaps the team are pressing as a unit rather than someone going on a run, charging the opposition down and losing goal shape for the sake of showing that you care. You know, it's of no benefit really to charge the goalkeeper down. You know, it's got to be pressing as a team. So I want to see against Arsenal us press as a unit. Have we got enough in the tank? Have we got enough energy left? Because the players were blowing up against Liverpool with 70 minutes played. So I don't know how much we've got in. Certainly the likes of Gray and Doucouré who are just coming back from injuries. And certainly if Mina and Gomez play as well. So I don't know how much energy we'll have, but I do want to see a pressing style. I want to see us go at Arsenal, outfight them, and play direct when we need to, use the channels well, cross the ball well, and punish them and finish it off, because I don't think the defence is particularly good. I think we can get at them. It's no better than Liverpool's defence. So we've got to have a right go. We just have to make sure we're a lot more solid defensively. Rafa also talked about Seamus Coleman. He said there's no one more committed than him, and praised his enthusiasm and passion, and said that he was really trying to push the players on. And I believe that, really. I do believe that Coleman's probably one of the few players that truly care. You know, he's been here 11 years and plus, I'd say. You know, he looked absolutely distraught after his mistake, and he's being hung out to dry, because really, I think he would admit that he shouldn't be playing week in, week out. But certainly in the games, you know, he will play. If he plays 20 games a season even, you know, he'll have a massive impact to make. But, you know, week in, week out, at 33 years old, when he's been on the decline, he'll admit that, I'm sure himself, that he's not the player he was. Maybe he's not even being allowed to be the player he was, but he's still got ability. I thought he was one of the better players against Liverpool. So I'm not dropping him necessarily against Arsenal. I just think we need to get behind him and not give him so much abuse because it's just counterproductive. It's not as if we've got anyone else who can come in really and replace him. Lee's saying a 4-3-3 should be the formation. More in midfield. Pickford, Coleman, Mina, Godfrey, Dean, Alan, Gomez sitting. Decore a bit further forward. Charleston left, Ron and Gray. I think that's more than 11 players. No, it isn't. You're right. So on that, Lee, I'm gonna say I think the 4-3-3 would help us in midfield. I think that would have been my formation against Liverpool because at a play, you've still got you've got 5 in midfield and in possession you've got 3 up front. So that would have been my formation for this Arsenal game. They often play 5 at the back, don't they? They change it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think I would like to see Pickford, Coleman, Mina, Godfrey, Keane, and Dean. So there's your 6. There's a back 5. Decore and Allen in front, and then Richarlison, Gray, and Townsend as my front 3. I mean, I think most people will disagree with it, but you've got to stop the rot from the defence first and foremost. You can't make it so easy. Maybe an alternative, I probably should say, the extra midfielder, just stop the attacks getting so close to our defence and having to rely on our defenders to bail us out. We need more in midfield, I suppose. So it's just looking weak in terms of options. Do you bring in Andre Gomez for a first start in months? Or do you start Delph? Let me know what you think. It's difficult to know what you're doing there, but I think the problem is defensively the spaces are all over the place. The defense is like 18 yards deeper than it should be to be in line with the midfield, and the midfield has to cover across certain positions because we've got others not doing their job. So yeah, Arsenal are a good passing team, and they could cut through us quite easily if we play defensively, as I said before, against in the same way we did against Liverpool, which is very much 2 midfielders who have to chase all around the pitch, closing spaces because the forwards aren't pressing and tracking back, and the wingers are not doing enough. So it's tough. It's really tough. Cut out individual mistakes, please, against Arsenal. No silly errors. And I know that they're anxious, and it's a full Goodison again on a Monday night. We have to cut out the errors and we have to play with a bit of confidence. And someone's got to send a rocket up their arse for this game. Head-to-head stats, Premier League record. Arsenal have always had the better of us in the Premier League era. Obviously, before that, Everton was stronger, but in the Premier League era, they've won 34 times to our 10 and scored twice as many goals. 111 goals in the Premier League at 52 for us, and they kept 20 clean sheets. And they're good travellers to Goodison Park. Normally, Arsenal. And they're on the back of quite a strange game against Man United yesterday, where David De Gea was on the floor and Smith Rowe scored a goal. I mean, what you make of that, I'm not so sure what I can say about it. But Arsenal, they've had a really good run this season in general. Arteta's proving a lot of the doubters wrong, and I think he'll get more time because they're not what they were. They haven't got the players, so they can't be what they were. But he's got the benefit of time now, and I think he's doing a good job. But they're on a good run of form, except for a couple of the recent games, and they'll come to Everton, I think, to try and play on the front foot. I don't think they're going to play counter attack. I think they're going to come and try and impose themselves on us. But I want to see Everton go and impose ourselves on Arsenal, and I'll try and change things around now because there's no excuse. The only player missing is Calvert-Lewin, and we've got Brazil's number 9 up front. So you've got to now say that the buck will stop with Benitez if we can't get results, because he's going to set this team up. He's got the players available, and he's got to do better now. So where do we go from here now? What is your team? And what is your match prediction? Let me know in the comments. We did beat Arsenal twice last season. Obviously, no fans in the stadium. Everton seemed to be better without the fans. And I'm going to put that down to the fact that the Everton fans, as passionate and as loyal as we are, some of the things we say are very misplaced. Like the willingness for the team against Liverpool to push them on the encouragement of someone to charge across the pitch to close an opposition player down, in turn leaving acres of space. It doesn't work. You have to channel it in the right way, get behind the team. But I think the players did better last season without the fans away from home, though it didn't have the pressure. At home, obviously struggling. I don't know what we could have put that down to. I think it is a little bit of complacency and the fact that last season we were just a team that we were not really capable of playing possession style. And that's what we tried to do at home. We tried to play more of possession-based football. We just haven't got the players. In fact, I don't think we got the players for counter-attacking style. I'm not sure what we have the players for. Calvert-Lewin comes back, of course, a crossing style. You've got the two forwards in there and you've got natural width. I think that's playing to their strengths. But at the moment, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what we can do. I don't think Richarlison will play well in this system. I think he's better as a 2. And I like him. I prefer him on the right in midfield as well, because I think he can get on the end of crosses as well and have an impact. I think if he's playing up front, he needs balls into feet, and he needs the ball in behind, slipped into the channel for him to run onto. I don't think we can just lump it up to him as a sole striker. And there is a chance that will happen with Rondon potentially being injured. Arsenal without a win in the last 3 games against Everton away from home. I think they've been in quite a few draws, 0-0, maybe the last 2. And that's the longest winless run since 1989, when they didn't win in 6 attempts. And Rafa has seen his side concede more goals against Arsenal than any other team in the competition, which is a little worrying going ahead into the game. So just quickly going to go to the comments before I wrap things up. Who's going to be the 400th sub? Yeah, we were terrible at home last season. I mean, I realised that point as I was making the comment that we seem to do better without the fans, but it makes no difference. I think at home, the fans, they're very much on the players' backs because everyone's fed up. I'm fed up, and some of the aggression, it doesn't help the players. It really doesn't. At the same time, I just don't have the answers. I just don't know what you can do about it, because fans have got the right to be vocal and to voice their displeasure, with this terrible run. So what can you say, really? Jonathan Roskin, hi Johnny, was on the video with me yesterday covering the Liverpool game. Looking back, if you haven't seen it, you can rewatch it. Mina back making us stupid mistakes. I'm backing Everton 1, Arsenal 0. I love your positivity as always, Jonathan. And Dave Weston, hi Davey, saying I'm waiting for the open top bus tour for the Red Chai after winning the We Beat a Poor Everton Team Cup. I mean, I think that Liverpool fans pity us a little bit at the moment, because I think even they can see that this Everton side is so bad. So I've not really had any abuse directed at me from Evertonians and the people that I've bumped into in the city centre, and obviously that's a lot of people with my work. But they're all laughing. They're all taking it a bit of banter, because they can see really that there's major problems. We didn't go into that derby game really with a cat and house chance or any thought of winning, and it was over the minute that team sat up in that formation with those players playing in that style. So I think even Liverpool knew. If we'd have been giving it large and saying we were going to get a result, I think we'd have all got terrored after, but they can't even do it. You should do a live going over all the players that I've left over 3 years. Yeah, Tim, interestingly enough, in that press conference, I think it was Paul Joyce. He's obviously based in Merseyside, and he made a comment to Rafa Benitez, and he said basically, how can you spend I don't actually know whether it was Paul, but I apologise if I'm misplacing that. He said, how could you spend 500 million on this team and still be competing in mid-table? And Rafa says, the money's been spent. We need to do better with the players, and they want to invest more money. Oh, you're asking how many players have left for free over the last... Yeah, I know what you mean. I think a lot of them have left, with our blessing and without really us seeking financial rewards from it. They either go on a free transfer or we get buttons for them, or we're paying them to get to leave. So yeah, I think it is a lot of players, Tim, and we're on the turnover of probably this is the replacement. This players now are the replacements for the replacements for the replacements. They are, we're trying to patch up previous regimes and replace players who've already gone. We're talking about an era under Koeman. Initially, that was getting rid of the likes of Morales, Williams, and Martina, Klaas, and Rooney, and then Schneiderlin, and then they've all been replaced with other players who've proven to be not good enough, and then replaced again. So it's just awful recruitment, and you have to start looking at the role of Marcel Brands, and if he's in charge of the recruitment and he is overseeing all of it, then he's not doing his job well enough for me. And if he hasn't been allowed to do his job, then direct that at the top. And I'm not necessarily saying Bill Kenwright, because I think Kenwright was here under Moyes, and we were quite astute, and we did better under Moyes with Kenwright. So it's now that we've got the money, and I think people who maybe don't know much about football or is getting misled and poorly advised are the problem, really. A lot of players planning for their exit. Yes, Tim, I think I agree with you. I think some of them will definitely be off, and I think others will be sold anyway because we've had enough of them. They don't pity us with their reveling in it. You think they'd won the league the way they carried on. So, and maybe you've seen different to me, Dave. I don't know what you've been getting a lot of WhatsApps. They're just laughing at us as well because we've become an embarrassment. Previously you could say that Everton had the better mentality over Liverpool and they were doing things in the right way. But ultimately, now it's just the golfing class in every department on the pitch and off the pitch is just. I'm not necessarily talking about fans because I know they were cheering through the applause for the Ava White, for the Liverpool player who died, and for the young girl who died, who was murdered, I should say. So I'm not saying about the fans. Some of them are obviously bonkers, and most of them don't even live in the country. But I've completely lost my trail of thought. But yeah, off the pitch, in terms of the way the club is run, it's obviously done in a way that's sustainable, and I think Everton, could learn a lot from looking at what they're doing and how to build a team and back a manager and sort of signing like 20 players in a window and getting rid of everyone. Build a team, start the foundations, make it a project, get into Bramley-Moore with an adequate team, and then we can gradually one or two players. If you've got money to spend and we can buy players, I'd rather have a couple of £30 million players or a £45 million player in a window than 2 or 3 players who are going to be, at the level that we've already got or what ultimately turn out to be. So I think we need quality over quantity, for sure. Lee says, problem with Rafa is he's predictable. We could probably name the entire 11 in formation. Yeah, I mean, the style of play is predictable. And I don't even think it talks about being I said yesterday, compact defensive coach, organised. I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen us play on the front foot, and I haven't seen us be particularly good or lethal on the counter-attack, apart from a goal Damari Gray scored against Brighton. So the whole Rafa Benitez regime has been a myth, laced with unluckiness with injuries and unluckiness with having no money to spend. But he hasn't done himself many favours, I don't think. Under 23s and under 18 players leaving. Yeah, I mean, we haven't produced anything of note. They just end up going on free transfers. Again, Talksport said he spoke to Brands and asked if he was responsible for recruitment. His reply was, that was not my responsibility. No, I'm not sure. I think, are you talking about the fan who confronted him in the director's box? He said, is it just the players? That was his answer, which makes me think, is he unhappy with the manager? Did he even choose that manager? And very quickly, Rob Fulton, hi mate. He says we need a bare minimum of 5 players in January and right back being the top of the list. I think we have to start with a centre back. We need to start with a left-sided centre back who's going to play week in, week out and grab this team by the scruff of its neck and lead from example. And then I think look into midfield as well. Alan, no, I'm not saying replace him, but I'm saying someone who can interchange with him or fight and compete, because he hasn't got the legs, and I think we need to look for the future in there. An absolute athlete, a leader, preferably an English player. Go and find him. Do your business in the right way, and some competition for Seamus, please. But it's not going to happen all in one window. I just see us signing maybe one player. Gary Guys, thanks for watching. I don't have enough time, unfortunately. I'd love to stay on and chat for you longer, but I have to work tonight. I've got a gig. As you know, I'm an entertainer, so Friday nights are off limits for me. But it's been a pleasure to have you watching on this short match preview for Everton against Arsenal. As I say, I think we could either go 5 at the back, bring Mina in, or we could pack the midfield and try and get a bit of better grip of the game. I try and get more control instead of playing so gung-ho and leaving us so open and end-to-end like we did against Liverpool. I think we've got to play with a little bit of authority on the front foot. Let's go and press them and let's have a go and win. And I'm seeing Everton beat Arsenal 2-0 at Goodison Park on Monday. And I'm not going to say anything else. Thank you, guys. If you haven't already subscribed and you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button over on YouTube and hit that like button on Facebook if you are watching. And on YouTube, of course, you can hit that like button too. Feel free to comment and I'll pick them up after and interact as always. And I'll be back on Monday night, I think, after the Everton versus Arsenal game. And then following up with a match preview for the following fixture. Have a lovely weekend. Take care. Bye now.